Oh my word, so much happens in this one episode that it has taken me this long to sit down and actually talk about it. So there's so much that I want to talk about that I'm basically just going to start with the episode and work my way through rather than jumping all over the place. Shadow! I loved how they showed Jughead and Betty in their own separate world. You see this take place at the picnic table at the school. Jughead and Betty are kind of having this private discussion that nobody else is even aware of, and they could care less. They're talking, they know what they're talking about, and all of that. And it was just lovely. And then other people kind of got involved, and you could tell they didn't want to have people come in on the discussion, and they started giving these looks to each other, and it was just perfect. And the chemistry between Jughead and Betty in this one episode, especially right from the start, was there. It was on point, and I loved it. The scene with the Pussycats at the start, you have Josie singing, and Val is kind of trying to get in with the singing as well. And Josie's reaction to Val is just downright mean with regards to how Val is trying to put more into the group, and also based on Val and Archie kind of practicing together. And then Val just quits, and then Josie's expression, she's shocked, she's hurt, in that moment, there was just so much that actually happened that was not said that made that scene what it is. Okay, so Mr. Andrews and Mrs. Lodge's moment, no, I am not okay with that. No, 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 and no. The interesting thing is, though, you have the difference shown between Archie's reaction and Veronica's reaction to this event. Veronica oversees it happening, and it causes this rift between her and her mom. Whereas Archie's dad comes and talks to him, and he's like, hey, if it's what makes you happy, then good. But you also see Archie being more supportive, and I think that was very interesting because there's a lot of this opposite for, growth, and opposite with regards to reactions, and also opposites with regards to the comfort level with regards to discussions and family matters that are shown between Archie and Ronnie. When Veronica says that she will help Archie because Val says she can't perform with Archie when she's still with the Pussycats, and then later on Val goes back and Archie's actually, practicing with her and everything for this talent show. That entire situation is just awkward, and I knew that it was going to blow up in Archie's face because he was wishy-washy to the entire extent. You've got Veronica referring to Archie as having zero loyalty, no integrity. It's one of those things where you understand with all this stuff going on in Ronnie's life that she has an issue with this, but you also have to take into account the fact that Archie really is exactly what she says. He doesn't have any loyalty or integrity because originally he wanted to perform with Val. Val dropped out. So Ronnie stepped in and said that she would do it, and Archie agreed. And then Archie doesn't even say anything to Veronica. He just starts performing with Val. And you even see Val's reaction when Archie's like, well, do you want me to, not perform with Val and you want to perform with me then? You can't do that. You can't. It just causes huge issues. Ronnie's upset because he literally has zero loyalty to whoever performs with him. He just wants somebody there. And then you also have the situation of Val's shocked expression because she's like, whoa, I left the Pussycats for you. And in this scene, I think it was a huge eye-opener for Archie because he needed to come to terms with the fact of his music and himself, because right now he was using other people as his shield. You have the interaction with the mayor and Josie when Val quits. The mayor is explaining to Josie about marketing and what they're trying to sell themselves as, and that she needs to have somebody else that doesn't overshadow who Josie is, and that Josie is the main person that you should be focusing on in this group. And I thought that was really interesting, but I didn't understand why this was taking place, because it just seemed so pushy, and it kind of made you understand where Josie was coming from with her personality, because she's being shoved in this direction by her mom. But later on, you do find out that it's also because of with her dad. Ronnie joins the Pussycats. That scene was just so, like, in your face, Archie and Valerie. So you find out the location of where Polly is being kept, and Betty goes there with Jughead. You see her reaction to the home for wayward youths, I believe is what it was called. You see her reaction to Polly's room, and then you see her reaction to seeing Polly. And all I have to state is, I totally told you so! Polly is pregnant. I kind of had that feeling when they were trying to hide the whole, evidence of it, as well as the fact that she then states, "You found us." But the one thing that caught me was the phrase, "couldn't control me." Her parents couldn't control her, so that's why they sent her to this home for wayward youth. Maybe Betty should be a little bit more cautious with what is going on, because that, I think, is going to lead into what happens in episode 7. I don't know what's going to happen, but I just feel like how they ended episode 6, something's going down, and I just feel like it's not going to be a good situation for Betty. You also end up finding out during her interaction with Polly that what actually happened on July 4th was they were forced to break up, but they didn't want to, so they were going to run away together. They had set up an entire escape plan with regards to a hidden vehicle, and she did not know that Jason was dead, and I felt so bad about that. But you also see this side of her that seems a little bit unhinged, and I think that was pulled off very well, because you do kind of have this suspicion, is this actually going to be there? Is she lying? What is true? And has being put into this home kind of messed with her a little bit. I really thought that it was interesting seeing Jughead's reaction to Betty and Polly, because Jughead is, I think, the only one that, although he has had a bit of a messed up past, he's probably the most grounded member of all of the cast. Moving back to Josie and the members of the Pussycats, I thought it was interesting when Val used the phrase, "I found my voice with them," when she was singing with Archie and doing the practicing with him, because it really goes to show how far back Josie and the Pussycats go with each other. To hear that Val found her voice with them, that means 100 different things that you can interpret for whatever you'd like. To me, Val found herself. She figured out who she was with them. She became herself with them. It wasn't just the literal, she found her voice and was able to sing. She found her purpose. There's so many things that that one sentence powerfully gave out that it was just beautiful. And it means so much to see these secondary characters being pulled forth and given their own backstory and given information and make you feel connected to them. You also have Josie's dad appear with being, I believe, a jazz musician, and he uses the phrase when he finds out that Val isn't a part of the group. "She gave your act much needed integrity." Wow. What? Honestly, that's horrible to say to your child. Horrible. And to see how much his comments hurt Josie, to see how much his actions hurt her, and to see how much she looks up to him, that hurts. It's not something that should have taken place. Now I'm going to skip forward a bit to the actual talent show. I love seeing the whole 75th talent show. Again, that 75th was coming into the series. Again, I mentioned a while back, they had a couple years ago the 75th anniversary of all of the Archie and Riverdale and cast and everything. So it's nice that they include that in this series. But you also see in that specific talent show, Josie's dad get up and leave partway through her concert. And you end up seeing the aftermath of that action that he does to Josie. You know, she's in the washroom, she's getting herself put back together from the concert, and her mom comes in, and Josie just breaks down. And it's horrible to see a parent do that to their child. Like, it makes me think, okay, I thought the mayor was bad with Josie, and with regards to being, you know, dirty and everything like that with her political practices. But then you see her dad do that, and you just think, why? So moving on to probably my favorite thing to discuss in this episode talk, Jughead. He climbs up a ladder and he knocks on Betty's glass and he calls her Juliet. I don't like Romeo and Juliet, I'm just gonna get it out there, but he calls her Juliet. And it was just perfect. And my ship was like in the red. It was just, you know, you're green lit to go, just okay. Then, you know, she starts mentioning certain things, and then he's like, all parents are crazy, we're all crazy. Then he's like, we're not our parents, we're not our families. This is perfect because, like, Juggy's got a messed up home situation, you've got Betty in this horribly messed up situation. And then they kiss. They kissed. And all was right. Because they kissed. And my ship has sailed. And it was green lit to go. And nothing better happened to it because I'm very happy with it right now. The first thing though, when they finished kissing, is she mentions Jason's car. And Juggy's like, that's your first thought after her kiss? And that was perfect, because you're like, seriously? Like, you're not thinking about the kiss right now? And she's like, no, you had a car stashed. And I'm just like, what even? What even? You know, it helped the situation. I really liked it. It felt perfect. It felt right for her to have that aha moment, right? But then they end up going and they find Jason's car stashed. They find drugs in the vehicle, like, hold the phone. Everything just hit the fan as to everything you thought was going on was not actually what was going on. So, yeah. And also, who saw them at the car? That's what I'm really curious about, because who did it? I'm still expecting it to be Mrs. Cooper. But still, you have that whole situation, like, I thought the whole drugs thing was going to be like, oh, maybe, you know, it's just one of those rumors that got spread around, somebody said it. But no, it's true. Like, what the heck were drugs doing in his car? Honestly. Josie's response to Val's comeback was just perfection. Again, it's one of those moments where the body language, the facial feature expressions, those all gave away so much more than just the words, and I loved it. Can I just talk about product placement? There was one scene in this episode where I blatantly saw product placement, and I was like, really? We needed to take the, probably, let's just give a grace period, 30-second of, like, the camera focusing on that. Really? Is it going to play, like, a huge role later on, or was it just a product placement and they had to find somewhere to put it, so they're like, oh, we'll just, make it really obvious and put it here. CoverGirl, so lashy. You have Josie putting that on when Val comes to tell her that she's gonna perform with her because she's back, and because she didn't know that Josie's dad was back, and that's why she was acting like that. But that's where the product placement was, and I want to know, is it gonna like be part of the murder weapon later on, or is it just there for no good reason? Because I feel like it was there for no good reason. Just like right now, I'm talking about it because it was there for no good reason. I love when Archie is performing. You have Josie's reaction, Mr. Andrews' reaction, Veronica's reaction, and you also later on have the supportiveness of the guys who were laughing and like just messing around and being really inconsiderate and rude to Archie when he went out to perform. You get to see this different side of them being really supportive afterwards, because he actually does have this talent, and I thought it was really nice to see that, because it also shows a change with these characters, right? They're being these doofus jerks and being like, oh, whatever, we'll just like fool and joke around with him and mess him up and all this stuff. But then they're left feeling shocked and, you know, seeing that he's still able to accomplish this. And you see this 180 with them later on, supporting him, going and telling him good job and all of that. And it was really nice to see. Another one of these moments, Archie and Val kissed. You could just feel like the electric, like, zapping going on between the two of them, like with their eyes. And then they kissed. And I was just like, yes! I still have to state my favorite kiss in the episode was Betty and Jughead. Although Archie and Val kissed, Betty and Jughead's kiss was just awesome. Ronnie's reaction to her mom's betrayal was a scene that I think was really well done. Not a lot needed to be said, because you felt the same way that she did, and nothing was going to fix it. Her mom made a decision that was going to forever change their relationship, and Hermione didn't care about that. Hermione cared about Hermione. She didn't care about her daughter. She didn't care about her decisions. In this episode, there was a lot of emotions and just a lot of unspoken words that went into this episode. And I think that it goes to show how amazing the acting is, because they're able to give off, you know, the body language, the facial expressions. They're able to say so much without saying anything at all. And it just goes to show how well these actors and crew are working on this film or episode series, and it's just wonderful. I think it really goes to show that it makes you want to continue watching and continue supporting because of this. So the end of the episode, you have Betty and Jughead trying to help Polly break out of this home for wayward youth. But you end up seeing that she's escaped through the window. Now, there's blood on the window, so two thoughts pop into my mind. Number one, is she hurt? Number two, has she caused herself to have a miscarriage? Or was she miscarrying and decided to escape? You have Jughead kind of doing that over-narration thing when they're running through the hall to go and break her out. And he uses the phrase boogeyman. And did anybody else see the guy in the background? Number one, was that one of the guards? Number two, was it a creepy person that, you know, you shouldn't have seen, or nobody saw, or he wasn't actually involved there? I don't know, but he appears and Juggy says boogeyman at the same time, and it just gave me the creeps. But the main thought at the end of this episode is Polly. What is she going to do next? Is she going to seek revenge? Is she going to find out what happened? Or is she going to bring destruction on all those around her and reveal everybody's dirty little secrets that she knows? So that's my episode talk. Much longer than the last episode, but so much went down in this one. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and please feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. because maybe you have different opinions than I do. Maybe you have a different favorite kiss. Mine was definitely not Fred and Hermione's. I hated that kiss. I think Fred deserves so much better than Hermione, but who am I to tell Fred what, right? Anyway, guys, I will see you in my next video. I hope you all have a lovely rest of the day, and I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Bye!